This past week was a pretty big week in K-pop. BoA is getting ready to make a Korean comeback. She pre-released a song in this past week, so let's talk about that and some other songs in this episode of The Hot Highlight. What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick from MWK-Pop, and I want to welcome you back, of course, to another episode of The Hot Highlight. This week in K-pop had a little bit of everything. We had a couple rookie debuts, we had a highly anticipated comeback, and of course, BoA, the legend of K-pop, made a pre-release for her first Korean comeback in the last few years. So we're going to hit on all of those points, cover all of those songs, and we will be, of course, giving you my top 3, of which those 3 songs you'll be able to vote for the next week's Hot Highlight Top 20. So let's get the brand new songs you can vote on revealed right now, starting, of course, with number 3. Coming in at number 3, of course, is Heartbeat, as we just saw. This is a brand new vocal-focused boy group that is entering the K-pop scene. They made their debut either sometime last year or at the beginning of this year. And in fact, they are a group that has flown under the radar. The vocal groups don't get too much attention, but I do have to say that these guys are absolutely fantastic. Every single one of them, of course, has like top-notch vocals. And, you know, it's said, I've seen people comment around, at least on my reaction video, that this group could possibly be one that could replace 2AM. I'm not sure exactly if that means that 2AM is actually not in a group anymore, because I haven't heard anything about that or seen any news regarding that. But, you know, for a fact, I can tell you that 2AM as another vocal group, that Heartbeat will be able to join them or replace them when the time comes. And my favorite part of this entire song is the chorus of the song. The chorus is full. It sounds big. You know, the multiple, layers as far as different members, 2 multiple members singing the lines at the same time. Overall, it's just a fantastic song. And, it's a sad song kind of about a breakup, and, trying to, everyone's not really aware of that and dealing with that kind of, it's just a, song dealing about with the breakups with someone that you're actually really attached to. And the chorus and the way that it sounds really kind of conveys that, sense of sadness and longing and whatever other sorts of feelings you'd be feeling, as you're going through that time. It really conveys that emotion through it really well. So that's fantastic. And of course, the big sound is a change from the way that the verse is, because the verses are very thin and quiet, and then you build up into a loud and big and full sounding chorus. So, that's fantastic. And I'm telling you right now that you should be keeping an eye out for these guys, because maybe they're not going to be, carving out a huge, portion of land in the K-pop world, but I can tell you for sure that they will definitely be a very respected group in the near future. So Heartbeat in at number 2. Number 3. Let's move on to number 2. Jang Hyunseung is making his solo debut with his song called My First, and he's breaking from the group dynamic of BESTie, which is going to let him do whatever it is he wants to do, whatever he does best, and it's going to be him, all about him. And he's also breaking away from Hyuna and, not being a part of the troublemaker duo, which again is also a good thing as far as getting him some recognition for what he does. And overall, this is just an absolutely fantastic song. It is fun to listen to. The music video is fun to watch. And, through listening and watching this music video, I get that troublemaker, vibe where, it's got that it's got the sexy and scandalous, imagery and some of sound and all that stuff, which is fantastic. It really highlights, of course, what he brings to the troublemaker duo, which, kind of goes to show that is not all Hyuna being, the sexy and scandalous kind of person. And, I think that's fantastic. Of course, with him being paired with Hyuna or being a member of BESTie, you don't see this as something that he, as an individual, can do and do it well. And that is absolutely fantastic. And overall, man, the song is a jam. It is super great. the music track behind the vocals in the verses and the choruses and whatever other parts of the song that there are, they are just fantastic to listen to. They have got some groove, and you combine that groove with those dance moves, especially during the chorus, and you know, not only does the music video get stuck in your brain as a visual for what is going on with the music, just the sound in general, that is a very interesting, it has some very interesting sounds to accompany it in the music video, the song itself. And those are what gets stuck in your brain. So the song sounds interesting, which has interesting sounds which get stuck in your brain, and you combine that with the music video and some dance moves that are also very, very memorable. Put them together, you've got a very memorable song and video combination, which of course is a winner, and that is why it is in at number 2. So now we've got to reveal number 1 right now. Coming at us with probably what I'm gonna say is the first proper summer pop song of the season is BESTie and their song Excuse Me. And I say that this is a summer song just because, you know, it's one of those, you know, the summer songs generally tends to be bright and poppy and all that stuff, and this song has all of that. It is absolutely fantastic. Not to mention that it being a, you know, summer song, it is also kind of a return to their old, you know, pop sound and the look that they have had previously, which is awesome. It's great. You know, Thank You Very Much was a fantastic song. It sounded great. It looked great. Everything about it was fantastic. But going back to their roots and what have, you know, what they've done previously that has gotten them to this point as well, or to this point, is absolutely fantastic. And this song itself, I said in my music video reaction, so if you haven't watched that, then you don't know what I'm about to say. But if you have, then you do. This song reminds me a lot of Girls' Day's song from last year called Darling, which is fantastic, and it makes the Girls' Day's release coming out in the next week or so, next week I believe it is, a very, very interesting thing that is going to happen, because how are these two groups going to stack up against each other? Now, Darling is from one of my experience and my memory of it, Darling has more of a swing feel to it, you know, back in like, you know, swing was popular back in like the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and, you know, Excuse Me doesn't really have the swing feel. It does have that, you know, groove and that beat to it though, but it definitely does not have that swing feel or sound or influence, but it does have, you know, that sort of like old genre, old style of music influence like injected into it to, you know, bring that old sound and instrumentation into this modern pop music, which just makes it absolutely fantastic. And I actually had a commenter on my music video reaction that said, or someone who tweeted at me talking about it, who said that it actually kind of really sounds like something that Mamamoo could, or that they should have, what they should do at some time in the future. And you know what? I would agree with that, but as far as, you know, the pop sound and pop aesthetic of the entire song, it would really have to be toned down a little bit more for Mamamoo to be able to pull it off, or for it to be something that would fit Mamamoo very, very well. But, you know, this BESTie song is fantastic. It is absolutely, without a doubt, obviously my number 1 song of the week, and it's a style and sound and genre and whatever you want to call it and label it, that a number of groups can do, and that, of course, Girls' Day have kind of done last year with Darling, which back then Darling was pretty much labeled as the summer song of the season. So it's fantastic to see that BESTie are getting in ahead of Girls' Day, and I'm assuming that Girls' Day, when they make their release next week, that is gonna be the same sort of thing, because, you know, again, it's coming out during the summer. Darling was an absolutely fantastic song and was well received, so I don't see why they would change that, go with something different. And it's just going to be a really, really interesting thing to see how those two, how BESTie and Girls' Day face off against each other, and, you know, which one of those comes out on top, as far as my personal opinion and the K-pop fandom's opinion in general. So that is my top 3. We've got Heart B in at number 3, Jang Hyunseung in at number 2, and BESTie in at number 1. You can vote for those groups for next week's top 20 or hot highlight top 20. So there's going to be a link down in the description box in the profile, in the description box below. You can vote once every 24 hours, and you can make as many selections every time you vote as you want. So if you want to vote for all 23 artists to be included, you can do that, although that wouldn't make much sense to me, but you can do it if you want. So We're going to move on to the next segment, which is going to be highlighting a couple groups that I left out of my top 3, but I think are definitely worth talking about. So we're going to move on to that right now. All right, so the final segment is going to be the other highlights that I have got. And we have to talk about, of course, rookie boy group making their debut. Romeo made their debut with Lovesick, an adaptation or a different, portrayal or retelling of the Romeo and Juliet story, which is just fantastic. They have got that sexy and cute look to them at the same time in the music video. They got the sexy members, they got the cute members, they can do it all. And just overall, the song is fantastic. It is a bit creative in terms, as far as, the story that it is telling, and the sound of it overall. It really reminds me of, what K-pop kind of would have sounded like 5 years ago, but it is more of a modern day kind of sound, which is absolutely awesome. And of course, as I said at the top of the show, we were talking about BoA and her song that she released earlier in the week. And that song, called Who Are You, is a pre-release to the new album that will be coming out, and the full song, or the actual, title track, promotion track for that album, will be released this week. This song is a more of a ballad sort of song, and which is not really the pop kind of sound that I was really expecting, although maybe she doesn't do that anymore. I'm not really familiar with BoA that much these days, or at all. But this ballad sort of song is a perfect way to get into the hype for her new album. And it's really, 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 really awesome. Definitely, if you're not interested, or you were not interested in BoA previously, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, because of course she is the legend. She is a legend in K-pop. Then this song is definitely one that would get you interested. So those are the 2 songs we have to highlight. Of course, this show we gave my top 3 and the 2 songs that we highlighted. So the top 3 songs, though, remember, are going to be eligible for you to vote for next week's highlight top 20. So don't forget, vote. The link to the poll is down in the description box below. Remember, you can vote once every 24 hours and make as many suggestions or many selections as you want. So that is going to be it for this episode. I do hope that you enjoyed me. Get connected with me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, message me on KakaoTalk. The links are down in the description box below. And as always, I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for the Hot Highlight Top 20, the first episode that has been voted and selected by you. It's very, very exciting. So I will see you then. Goodbye.